Hey, welcome to another episode of Chad's Beer Reviews, continuing with all macro beer review month. I've done all American beers, it's time to do something else, so we're going Canadian. Molson Ice. Premium ice beer. Beer glacier de qualité. I don't know. Although it actually says, brewed in Golden, Colorado, if the thing would focus there. Union made, product of the USA. So yeah, it's made by Coors in Colorado at their main brewery. So I'm using the boot because that's what this review is, a boot. Very, very, very bubbly. It calmed down a little in the last couple minutes. The head probably went up to about where this seam is, or whatever you call it. Yeah, so it was probably like 3-4 finger head. Typical pea color. It's a little bit darker gold than most. It's definitely more carbonated than most. This smells, it's funny, I just did the Coors Light yesterday and this smells the same. It's super, super corn. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know what like corn and brewing smells like, just go to a home brewing store and ask for flaked maize or corn grits. And just really get your nose in there. You won't see it. Like if you go to a craft brewery, they'll probably have samples of the malts they use laying around. But so few craft breweries or microbreweries use corn unless they do like a cream ale or something. You want to know what corn and brewing smells like? Go to the homebrew store, ask for corn grits or flaked maize. And it'll smell pretty much like this. I mean, it's not offensive. It's I don't know, it's just very corny. It's it's very lagery. It doesn't have that nasty metallic odor. Like, I reviewed this back in 2010, and I haven't had it since then, so let's see. I didn't like it back then, so let's see if it's any better. Cheers. This is basically, it's Coors less light. Yeah, I remember, 4 years ago, this being a very metallic-y tasting beer, like the very harsh gratiness on it. A lot of the beers with the word ice in the name, that's what they tend to be. This is, I mean, since it's made in America by Coors now, I have a feeling that they're just taking Coors Light, adding a lot more grain to it, and then freeze distilling it. If they even really do that, that might just be a marketing thing. Yeah, very corny. Corn lager. Kind of neutral tasting. It doesn't have that, hints of sweetness a lot of the lagers tend to have. It's not dirty tasting, I'll give it that. Especially, I tend to get, I would actually, most of the time I'd rather actually review or drink a malt liquor than one that says ice in the name, because these ice ones tend to be usually the worst. I think Beast Ice is probably, or Natural Ice is probably the worst that I've ever had. No bitterness in this one at all. It's pretty clean. It's refreshing once in the mouth, very fizzy, very crisp. Sort of a watery texture. It doesn't have that club soda or carbonated water taste or texture to it like how the Coors Light had yesterday. I mean, this has a little bit more flavor to it. But when I say little, it's you're really splitting hairs. I mean, if I had this and Coors Light side by side and I knew which one was which, I mean, it's only been 24 hours since I drank it, so I have a pretty good memory of it. Even get a little bit of lacing on the glass there. I'd be curious to see how this tastes if it warms up. That's something, when you review these types of beers, I mean, if you drink it when it's straight out of the fridge and it's nice and cold, you're not going to get the off flavors. But then once it starts to warm up, then it does. Then you start to get DMS and stuff. I don't really get any of that. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's, again, let's rate it on Rate Beer. Aroma, 4. Appearance, I'll give it a 4 because the head hung in there. Even got a tiny little bit of lacing. That might even be a 5, considering, giving it the benefit of the doubt. Taste, I can't really say this tastes good. It doesn't taste terrible. I can sort of latch on to some of the flavors here, but I guess I give that a 4 too. Palate, it's very drinkable. I gotta give it that. It's just as drinkable as Coors Light. It was super fizzy at first, as you can see. It's calmed down a lot since then. And this was a 24-ounce can that only cost, what was it, $1.70, $1.28. That's 5 cents an ounce. Palate, yeah, I'll give it a 4. That's a lot of 4 so far. And overall, 12. That's a 2.8. I think that's a 3 or a 4. That's a 4. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, so 4 out of 10 for Molson Ice. It's not god awful. It's certainly better than I remember, but it's not like a beer that I don't think this would ever be my first choice unless the other choices were like Budweiser, Camino Chelada, or Jenny Ice. So, yeah. All right, so that does it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.